Trish St. Hill. I am the CEO and founder of QX Television. You might be asking, who is Trish St. Hill and what is QX Television? Because I don't consider myself a celebrity. So let me explain. I am a published author who have written several fictional novels, as well as have published several books for other authors. Recently, my recent venture is that I created an online television network called QX Television. And it's actually not a Q and an X as you might think, it's CUEX TV. That stands for Cultural Experience Television. Now, what exactly is Cultural Experience Television? What we are doing with QX Television is to bring to you a kind of multicultural lifestyle network that deals with culture from the Caribbean, here in the diaspora in North America and Europe. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what motivated me to actually start this network. As I said earlier, I have published quite a few books, and that until recently have been my main thing that people know me for. I've also been a cultural activist that has been doing some cultural retrieval in the island of St. Vincent with the Garifuna people. So most people who know me know that this is what I do. How did I come by this network, this idea for this network? About 4 years ago, I started trying to come up with a concept, or I came up with a concept, I should say, of a television show for the Caribbean community. Not so much that it's strictly for the Caribbean community, but that kind of mirrors that group. And the show originally was to be called Caribbean Housewives. And I thought, we're not really going to be having people come into our bedrooms and our living room and our homes and so forth. Why don't we do like something more like a talk show type format, where we discuss issues in a very open and honest type of way. And so I decided instead to call the show Caribbean House Talk. Now, Caribbean House Talk is something similar to what you see with The View, with The Real, with The Talk, but it's in a Caribbean flavor type of thing. So I started working on this show and was shopping it to different networks and really wasn't coming up with the kind of feedback that I really wanted. So I decided, you know what, why don't I come up with my own network, an online network that I could do this show and other shows. And I did it for the same reason that I did my first novel. My first novel, I, as a child, always liked to write. And one of the reasons that I wrote that book is that I felt like I didn't see anything in the libraries or in the bookstores that mirrors my experience of my life. And I looked around and I thought, you know what? Caribbean people, we are hardworking people. We come to this country, we give our heart and soul. We work for our family, we work, for our loved ones back home, and yet you don't know much about us. People make assumptions about us because they don't understand us. And I thought, you know what? I'm one of those people that believe if you have a problem with something and you want to see a resolution, you need to be prepared to be part of that resolution. And so I decided to start writing, use my skills as a writer to write novels. The first novel I wrote was a book called Beneath the Golden Mango Tree. I followed shortly after with one called Beyond the Mango Shade. And after that, the last one was Tears of Exile. And it's sort of like a trilogy on the Garifuna history, and the first one I think was more not just the Garifuna history, it was sort of like an introductory to the Garifuna history, but I think the first one really gave us an insight into Caribbean life. When we come to this country, some of us, we don't have a green card, how do we survive, how do we, blend into American culture, etc. And so that was the first book. And so what I wanted to do was to create books that people can read from the Caribbean that mirrors our life here in America and in the Caribbean as well. And so QX Television took that same path when I realized that we really don't see much on television that really mirrors us as an immigrant group. We are an immigrant group, but we're really not treated as a serious immigrant group. People make fun of us when we talk, okay man, yeah man, and it sounds all cute to them, but I think, it's not so cute to us because what it says is that you're not even recognizing that we're all from different islands, and we don't all say okay man. There's nothing wrong with saying okay man and yeah man, but we don't all say that. So we don't want people to just look at us as with their own assumptions. And so I decided, you know what, we need a network. We need a network that's going to show movies that reflect us. We need a show that's going to give us comedy with our brand of humor. We need a show that's going to give us, or rather a television network that's going to show fashion and talk and interview, news. We need a network that's going to show us our cooking. And that's how QX Television was born. Because I figured instead of just waiting on somebody else to do it, why don't you do it? So I got around me a group of very supportive people, my cousin, some friends, my daughter, other family members and friends, and we decided, okay, we're going to put together our talent and our time, and we're going to make this television network happen. And we're going to go online. Why did we choose to go online? We chose to go online because, as most of you would know, online television is really an up-and-coming thing. It's really taken off like a rocket. Most people love it because of the fact that even though you have live shows, you also have that video on demand quality to it. So you're no longer stuck to, I have to make it home by 8 o'clock to watch my show. I have to set up DVR. You can go anytime and just watch your shows on most of the online networks. It has been such a phenomenon that we are seeing where the cable and the satellite networks are now putting their content on online medium like Roku and Amazon and Android TV and Apple TV. Everybody's got an app now, and so this is the wave of the future. So that's the reason that we went with the online form of the network rather than a cable or satellite. Now, I want to give some insights into where we have been so far. So we started the first show that we did was something called Soulful Scrutiny. And Soulful Scrutiny is basically an interview type format where you sit in the studio and you interview somebody. I think the first person I did an interview was Irma Weiss of Irma's Fashion Design. And it was a really amazing interview. She's really a shy lady. Anybody who knows, she's really oozing creativity. Very creative lady. I call her creative genius. But she's very shy, so I had to really kind of, pull her out of her shell a little bit. But once the interview got going, you really got some insight into who this woman was, or is. The next interview I did was with Judy Boucher. Judy Boucher is a very well-known singer in the Caribbean community, in North America, in Europe. She's very famous in Africa, and even among Caribbean nationals here. So I did an interview with Ms. Boucher, and it was really one of those things. It's a memorable interview because I think I really got to the heart and soul of who she is as a woman, and really understand. Really got to understand her life and what she's endured and had to go through in her life's journey in order to get to where she is to bring us those heartfelt and soulful songs. The next thing we started doing is taping Caribbean House Talk, which I spoke about earlier. And in this show, I got together Irma Weiss, who is a fashion designer, and Malfi Estevez. She's someone who is very much into health and fitness, and Caroline Mitchell Davis. She is sort of like a technology guru. And the four of us became the Caribbean House Talk. And we would sit for each show and we would talk about different topics. And what we try to do with Caribbean House Talk is we try to bring different issues. We bring a little bit of fashion, like Miss Weiss would bring on some little nifty fashion ideas and, we'd model for her and so forth. Miss Estevez, Amalfi Estevez would talk about, how some sort of fitness or health and fitness topic. And we would just get into it. Then we have like the more crazy things on the show where we'll talk about like fun things. But we also had the serious side. We'll talk about, taking care of elderly parents. We'll talk about leasing a car versus buying a car and try to educate people so they could understand the difference. We'll talk about, fire recovery. I had a fire at my house and I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So I felt it was good to bring that sort of element to the show, or that idea, and really, examine it a bit and have people be a little educated about what, God forbid, something like that happened, what do you do? Because there's so much stuff that if you don't, it's always an emergency, and if you don't know what's happening, you're prone to all kind of rip-offs and frustration, so we covered that. So we take things from serious, and our actual tagline is, we cover things from funny to curious to tearfully serious. And that's really what we try to do. We do cooking segments, and we have like a little advice section of the show. And we just really try to bring a combination of stuff. We actually finished our last season, and so what I'm about to do, I'm about to bring on one of my co-hosts, Alma Weiss, and one of our guest hosts, Miss Hyacinth Harrison, who's been a regular on several of our shows, and they're going to be coming on next to talk to me, and I'm going to be talking to them, and we're going to be telling you, giving you snippets of what some of the issues that we have covered on the show have been about. So stay with me. We'll be right back. I'm Trish.
I'm Amalfi. I'm Irma. And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. Welcome back to this recap version of Caribbean House Talk. I started talking earlier about Caribbean House Talk, about my role as the CEO and founder of QX Television, what it is, who am I, how it came about, what we're trying to do with the network, what format of the network is in. And I'm now joined by my co-host, Alma Weiss, who is our fashionista on the show, as well as this lovely lady, Miss Hyacinth Harrison, who is she's a regular on our show as a guest host, and we're hoping to see more of her in season 2. I was saying before I went to break that we wrapped up season 1 for Caribbean House Talk, and we're looking forward very much to season 2. So ladies, welcome to this recap episode of Caribbean House Talk.
Thank you.
We had a lot of fun on the show, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
I mean, I think most people see me and they think I'm very serious all the time. And I know I could turn it odd enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I came across, I think, as somewhat of the little bit more crazy one, I think. I mean, I think a lot of times their mouths drop, like, she did not just say that.
Oh.
If you recall, there was an episode that we did, and just like I was saying earlier, we went from the funny stuff to the curious stuff to the very serious stuff. So I don't think we started, but one episode that we had, I think it was episode 3, I think it was. We were actually talking about size matters. Let's take a look at that episode. I think I still blush whenever I see that episode.
You serious? You serious?
I really do. Blush whenever I see that episode. So let's take a look at that. You see, when you are teeny tiny, as opposed to a bazooka, you can't push for that so fast. You gotta get her head. You gotta get in her head, get attached to her emotionally. If you're teeny tiny and you're trying to rush to that, and she hasn't yet connected with you emotionally, you know, I'm being serious. That will make a difference. It's a turn off because she hasn't connected with you emotionally. We are emotional creatures. Rub my feet. You know, kiss on my toes. Oh, shit.
Okay. Stop. Okay. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so ladies, you know, those are some of the things that people, but just to see that, it doesn't give the true picture of what the show is. Because with that little quick soundbite and that laugh, there was so much more that went into that discussion. You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh, the size matter, and then, you know, that's all there is to it. It's all about a funny show. We went into some deep things. So that was one thing. That was one thing that made me blush. There was another one that we were talking about, and this was kind of tricky one. I was trying to make a point about when your children come to your house and they're not married, but maybe they're living with someone, or they're bringing a boyfriend or girlfriend. They're visiting, let's say, for Thanksgiving. Would you allow them to sleep together in the same bed in your house? But that's not how it came out. It came across as something totally different. Like it came across let me just let you look at this. Should unmarried adult children be allowed to sleep together or live together in their parents' home? So basically, how this came across is I'm saying, would you allow your grown children to sleep together in your house in the same bed? And that's not what I was saying. I was saying, would you allow your grown children who are visiting you to sleep together in the same bed with someone they're not married to? So I had to do a quick explanation there. We went into things such as, would you ever date an ex? And I kind of grossed everybody out because I was trying to really show how ridiculous it is to date an ex from my standpoint. There are other people who might differ, and I said, well, I think I equated to vomiting and eating it back. So let's take a look at that episode, that clip.
Should you ever give an ex a second chance?
An ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend a second chance.
Ex-boy or girlfriend a second chance?
I equate dating an ex to, it's going to be gross, vomiting and eating it back.
It is gross.
Okay? Vomit and eat it back. That's dating an ex. You don't want to do that. It's an ex and it should stay in the past. So, those are some of the things you expect to see. But again, it's more in-depth, detailed stuff. That it's not just those little quick, funny clips that you see. And those are some of the things we try to do with Caribbean House Talk. I know you've been at quite a few episodes with us. Which one was your favorite? Did you have a favorite? You did episode, I think, 4, 5, and 6 with us. Did you have a particular one, a particular thing that happened on the show that you...
Not really. I just when I got home, I sort of took a look in my brain of what I heard, and there was one thing that I really laughed about, but now I can't remember.
I think it was the robot.
Yeah, the robot. That one really.
Yeah, the robot one. That was kind of funny. So let's just take a look at the whole robot issue.
Yeah.
Something to ponder.
Sex robots will replace men by 2025, said technologists. What's your opinion on that?
Sometimes.
What if the robot
Sometimes.
malfunctions?
But-
I mean, really? I mean,
A
come
lot
on.
of men malfunction.
No, we're talking about an instrument, a robot.
All right. So that was a funny moment. Is there a particular episode that struck you as funny?
Well, I think fun came out. A little bit of fun came out in each one of them, honestly.
And then you have a couple that you...
I like them all because they were all interesting, and I learned a little bit of it, from each one. I really did. Some of the stuff that I knew already, some I get other people's opinion on, and really never looked at things that way until I actually heard it
Right.
from another
And that's what
side.
we're trying to do. We have something, let me just explain to your audience. We have something we call Spicy Dish. So what we do, people suggest. You suggest some topics, I suggest some topics, all the other members of the cast suggest some topics. Sometimes we'll be watching TV, we see something, it reminds us, we see something online, we may have a conversation with someone, and we would write them down. And we would pick I would pick 3 of the topics that I find the most interesting and put them in Spicy Dish. We have a dish, and we put the issues in Spicy Dish. And when we start the show, after the intro, somebody picks out a topic, another one picks out a topic, another one picks out a topic, and we discuss them. So Spicy Dish, the reason I name it Spicy Dish is because, we in the islands are known for our spices. We are known for people that,
And the conversation was spicy.
And the conversations are very spicy. Exactly.
Yeah. I
So-
was impressed by that.
Yes. So while people might see those little clips and they might think, oh my God, that is so funny. It's funny, but we also get into we get deeper into the
Yes,
conversation
yeah,
and it really gives us a lot of things to ponder and a lot of things to talk about. So, my favorite one, I think, was the size one. I just laughed to death. I mean, because I was laughing at me cracking myself up
Laughing. at
because I
yourself.
made a slip.
Mhm.
And there was another one where I was trying to make a point about something, and I said, you know, what, let me see if I could remember exactly how it went. So I was trying to remember something that a friend said to me, and it truly was a friend that said it. But then I said, you know, one time such and such, and I made this reference as if it was me. And everybody in the cast looked at me like, yeah, that's you, and you're saying a friend. And it truly was a friend, but I couldn't blame them for thinking it was me.
Thinking that way,
You know?
yeah.
It was fun. It was really fun. I had a wonderful time.
Yeah, we really like the segments with your fashion,
Oh,
because I think for me what I like about your fashion is that you really make things for everybody. It's not, you're not about a size 2 or a size 8. You have something for
Size
somebody
20.
bigger like myself. You have things for people of any age, any size, and the thing that really amazed me with you is that your inspiration behind these pieces are usually so interesting. Like you look at something that me and the rest of the world will look at.
She's a brilliant woman.
She is, and she would come up with a motivation, the motivator to create something, and she could really explain to you, you know, I did this because I saw a rainbow and I saw it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
look at a rainbow and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the creative genius behind
you have to
otherwise.
have you have to have a story to make the piece stand out.
Mhm.
That's just how I see it. And your story, in that story, the content of your story should be the material used to create that piece, and it will be more effective than if you just put a couple pieces of stuff together and try to do something that doesn't even, it's not even relevant to, you know, what you're feeling.
Right,
So-
right. I mean, that only a genius could think like that.
Yeah.
I'm creative in another way. For me to write my books, you see, I understand a little bit of me understand your creativity, but not necessarily the same one with you because you do fashion. I write books and I write 300-400 page novels, and people said to me, "How are you able, Trish, to crop up these crazy characters and ideas and just keep it going? And you know, you have villages that come alive, and it's all based on your imagination." And I said, well, I do have my strategy. One of the things that I do with a story, I do what I call story mapping. So I get a board, I get a chalkboard, and I have my younger sister who has, I think she has even more of an overactive imagination than I do. And I said, when you get some time, you come over for a weekend. And I said, I want to write this story. And I start from the conclusion of the story. People don't understand that. You start with the ending of the story. What is it about, and how do I want it to end? Now, when you do that, the rest is going to get filled in, so you can get there.
That is so true.
And so, what I try to balance with is, I do something called descriptive writing. So I could write a story that just give a bland, kind of flat description, or I could make it really interesting by inserting a character that has a little twitch or a little, you know, something, or he's, you know, a little comical. I could put somebody there who's a foul-mouthed person, and then there's the other characters to balance and be shocked by her foulness, and you know, so you keep the story going. So I understand that, you know, how creative minds work, but yours is really interesting that you're actually able to bring together physical thing, physical garment or a hat or what have you, and really put it together really nicely.
It speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the first thing you have to ask yourself, what is this telling me? What is it saying to me?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to see when I'm done?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I start.
You see, your stuff is not just, I come to you and say, make this for me, make that to you. Is that you create fashion from the motivation that you get, as opposed to me coming and saying, listen, I need you to make this white pants for me with a black, you know, streak. You actually crapping up these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you do some of that too, where people can tell you what they want. But a lot of the pieces that you model at your fashion shows are really things that you just
That I
got
came up
motivated.
with. Right.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yes.
you know, one of the things that I think you brought to the show when we had you on for those 3 episodes was, I think, your wisdom.
Wow.
You know, and your smile.
That's Smile is contagious.
Yeah, we had a good little balance there with you for
Thank you.
for just basically having that kind of wisdom.
And I enjoyed
You did?
I enjoyed the younger people.
You have to.
And you know, we have Amalfi, who is, you know, someone who's younger than we are. Then there's me and you, and then there's Miss Harrison, who can come and grace us with her presence as much as she can.
Thank you.
And you know, I think with Caribbean House that is the thing. We are not celebrities. I've said that on the
No.
show, and you'll see me saying that on several episodes. We're not celebrities. We don't come from a position that's different from the average person who's going to be watching us, right? We come from a position of everyday person who've been through some of the same things that the people watching us have been through, or know about it and is able to discuss it and identify with it. We have a similar budget and household issues and children and spouses or jobs or what have you from like everybody else. So I think that's what makes people interesting. Like people who have seen our show or clips and who have shown the episodes to are really, they're like, you know, I could identify with these things. I truly can identify with them because these are things that the people talk about. And so let me talk a little bit about the different sets that we tape the show on. So we started out in a studio, in one studio, and or one set, and our AC was not able to hold up one summer day when it was like probably close to 100 degrees, and we thought, okay, let's create another set in another location, okay, so that we could, because that area the AC was better, and that's where most of the episodes took place, because it was a kind of layout, like it's a living room layout, and I thought, okay, this was going to be the one day that we were going to tape it there, but then we thought, Caribbean house talk. You want it to look like you're in a house.
Yes.
You want it to look like you're in a living room, talking, like a bunch of girlfriends talking, and so we stuck with that, actually, with that set, and you know, we have our kitchen. And we do our cooking segments and so forth, but we stuck with that set, and everybody thought, that actually looks nice. That actually looks, you know, more representative of something Caribbean house talk. House talk, you know. So that's how we came up with some of the set ideas. We made several predictions. The general election, and we ended up, I didn't want to get into that, but we let's just say we were wrong. Most of us were wrong. So I ended up having to say to my editors, I just cut that out, because clearly we were predicting one. But one of these days I might show it, you know, to show you know what those predictions were, how off they were.
That's just to tell you, we're not perfect.
We're not perfect, yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of America is not perfect, because I think everybody was as shocked as we are about those outcomes. But you know.
But for the future, are you planning to get into the islands, the various islands, and?
Well, that's what we hope to do. We hope to not only get news from the various islands, but we hope to get into. We want to have more of a diverse island thing, right? Yeah. You know, the first season we're still coming into our own, but our thing is to reach out. We want to have guest hosts, such as yourself and others on the show that come from different islands, different background. We want to actually have show ideas from other islands and other people, and you know, make it more of a true Caribbean. We don't want it to be this island over that island. We want it to truly be a Caribbean network. So that's one of the things we're working on. But like anything, you start somewhere and then you build out. You know, you branch out, and I think so far we've really done well. I'm Trish.
I'm Amalfi. I'm Irma. And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. So we started filming like early in the summer, and we wrapped up in October. And I think that was really wonderful because I wasn't expecting us to wrap things up that fast. I really was thinking, it's going to take us a while. We're going to, be taping for quite a few months. And so where we're at right now, let's look at where we're at right now. So where we're at right now, we have several episodes. We're still in our content building phase. And so we're reaching out to people from the different Caribbean communities, both at home in the Caribbean islands as well as here in the diaspora.
Yeah.
We want people to let us know they have show ideas. Maybe you might have something on mechanical work. Maybe you might have something like Miss Weiss here. She's great with sewing and create, as we said earlier, creative genius. It might be something with financial investments. It might be something with rebuilding houses. It might be something. Whatever your show ideas, we want to hear you. Send them in. Mm-hmm. We're hoping to have a launch of the network very soon, so stay tuned. We do have a Facebook page, and we try to give our Facebook group updates using our Facebook page. We also have a website, www.cuextv.com. That's www.cuextv.com. Now, QX is not letter Q and X. It's actually CUEX and then TV. So QXTV.com. And so we're going to be putting a lot of updates on the network. I, do a lot with the Facebook page, and we hope to keep, you guys abreast of what's going on as we take this to the final step of actually launching the network online so that people can see full episodes of Caribbean House Talk and other shows. We have a lot of cultural footage. We, for instance, did last October and November rather of 2015 and November 2016, we did the Garifuna Cultural Mass in Brooklyn, New York. And so we have that episode, or those episodes. And so we're hoping people could look at that and really realize, because this Garifuna Mass is something that a lot of people don't know about. It's really an interesting thing to see. So we've been taping that, and we're going to have those footage. We have I remember we did a little something with Labor Day with all the costumes, and it was really a slide. Just playing some calypso, and you see the different costumes, and it's really amazing. And we did some fashion segments with you, some fashion shows. We did something for Cancer Walk, as well as Light the Night for Cancer. We did something with that, and we filmed. You see the fireworks and stuff like that. So we have. I remember doing something, and it was really kind of like an ad hoc type of thing. I was on the beach in the island of St. Vincent, where I'm from. Omar and I both from St. Vincent, and we were bathing, me and my children, and we saw them bring up what we call blackfish.
Yeah.
It's really name is sperm whale, and this is a fish that a whale that they cut up and they fry the skin of it, and they call it crisps, and it's very, very yummy, a delicacy. And so I just got my phone and I just started taping.
Yeah, we goosebumps.
Yeah, I just started.
I remember.
Yes, I just started like taping it, and so we have that on the network, to show at a later date. Yeah, and we have even when they did the Vinci picnic, Vincentia picnic,
In Hempstead?
in Heckscher State Park.
Okay.
So we went out and did and invite and interview people, and hear what are their views on it, what is it about, how does it make them feel to have this every year, and what is it that they look forward to come out to this. And we just really had a good time this last year or so planning this, getting this, because for those of you who don't know, I had a fire about 2.5 years ago, and it was a really traumatic time for me. So I was in the process of planning the network, and then I had to put things on hold because I realized that, oh my goodness, you know what? I am not going to be able to focus on that and, be able to build a network. So I had to put that aside for a while, get my family situated, then get us established back in our home, and then we started things again.
Okay.
So I've had some snags along the way,
Yes.
but I never let it get me down.
Yeah.
I know that this network is going to be something that is going to really set some trends in the industry. I think it is something that anybody from the Caribbean is going to be able to look at and really be proud of, because we have something that we could really say is truly something reflective of our culture. Whether you're English speaking, Spanish speaking, French speaking, you're from the Caribbean, you're welcome. You're African American, whoever you are, you're welcome to show ideas with us, to send footage to us if you want. If you have something interesting you're doing and you want us to know about it, feel free to share that idea with us. And if it's something that we really feel is a good fit for the network, we would discuss with you and see if it's something we want to air. But we are really inviting people to come forward with their ideas, because we feel that this is what is going to grow QX Television. We feel that having something that is not the normal everyday, you interview how much celebrities, and we're not putting those things down. We're saying, because I've interviewed celebrities, Julie Boucher is a celebrity, had other people interviewed that people may say have some celebrity status, but that's not what, we're not focused on. Let me see how much celebrities we can interview. We are more about getting information out there that the everyday person struggle with, need advice on, need to know about, need to,
and it's important to note that as Caribbean people, we have a lot to offer here in the United States. We have a lot of information.
You tell us a little bit about you, because you do something with you were doing something with the Chamber of Commerce.
A few years back, I started the West Indian American Chamber of Commerce, and there were bumps in the road, and we couldn't get the people to sort of get it together, to help to get things together. So I decided to dissolve it, but it worked well for 5 years, and we had a lot of competition with the other chamber of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce, because that was more, well established. So, but I miss it, and wish that there were more people, involved. But as you know, people get jealous, and if they're not doing it, that means
you don't have that vision to realize that you don't have to be the leader.
Vision, so I'm sorry that it had to be dissolved, but we go on.
I'm sure it had an impact somewhere.
It did, especially in Long Island, because they keep calling me, asking me when am I going to, but I don't think I will.
You kind of
I think it's
did your
something
time.
you should look into again.
Yeah, but you have to have the right people behind you who can support you. It was, it's just like what you're doing. You really do need the right people behind you.
That's true.
To make it work. A good group of heads, and but the Chamber of Commerce is well needed, especially now. With the
Yeah, I think you should reconsider.
You see, with life, you're gonna always have things that doesn't work 100% the first time around. But sometimes what those experiences would teach you is what to kind of stay away from, what to do more of, what to do differently, etc. So I tell you, if I had just given up the first time that something didn't go right in my life, my first book took 25 years to publish.
I do understand that. And
25 years.
Perseverance.
25 years. And you know what the attitude I took? When I had to put it down, for years, I put it down. Then sometimes when I pick it back up to continue writing, I would say, boy, I don't remember where I was going with this story. Where was I going with this again? Who was this person again? And so the second book, I knew to do a story, like I said, a story mapping. Map the story. Map the story, document it, get a notebook, and document the characters. And don't be afraid to insert other characters in there. And each character I inserted, I said, I give their traits. She's nosy, she's this, or this one crossed like a sailor, or this one had this kind of nervous twitch, or this one is a comedian. I laid out the traits of that character. So I didn't leave it up to chance. So if I didn't take up the book or the computer and type for a year, when I took it up again, I knew exactly where to just go. So I'm saying all of that in a long-winded way to say, even though it didn't work out well, the way you
yes.
wanted to,
Yeah.
I'm sure it had an impact, and I'm sure if you were to take it
It
up
did
or
have
some
an
form of
impact,
it,
yes.
that it probably not,
Yeah.
it probably worked better the next time. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You never know.
Mhm.
It might happen.
Mhm.
I know it's needed, because, people are wanting to go someplace to find out, especially people who want to start up businesses.
Mhm.
They want to go someplace and be comfortable and hear other people's stories and ideas and they run with it, and it was really a process, but it was a good process.
Mhm.
We enjoyed it up until that time,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
but sometimes too, not everything is meant to do forever. Some
that's
things you
true.
do it
Yeah,
and
that's
you
true.
learn and get something
Yeah.
from it, and hopefully
Yeah.
others got something from it. And if even if you never do it again, at least it did something.
Yeah.
I mean, some
But every
difference.
day I wake up, I think about business. I'm business minded.
Mhm.
I think about, business, how people are doing in their business. I'm always interfering,
Mhm.
in other people's business.
We like you interfering ours.
So in that way you can call me an activist. I like to put people together. So,
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. That's a good
Yeah.
quality to have, and we're certainly happy to have you
thank you.
on QX Television and to have you be a friend of the show and of the network, actually. And like I said, for season 2, I know we're going to have even more interesting things. We're hoping, for those of you seeing this recap show, we're hoping that we will get show ideas. We're looking for guest hosts who could eventually become permanent hosts of the show. But at least we start out with guest hosting. And so, and we actually we're just talking about the fact that we would like to have male co-hosts or guest hosts. We like to have males on the show because a lot of times what you see with a lot of these type of television shows is that you have a group of ladies sitting around talking. But we're talking about things that impact males, but we don't have a male on there. And it's our
Another point
idea.
of view.
And let me say that. And let me say this: as much as we may mean well, we are not men.
Yeah.
We don't gotta have a clue, and they don't have a clue about us in a lot of areas.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes it's good to have somebody who is part of is of that gender who could lend some light to it. So I'm kind of looking forward to season 2 and to kind of blend a couple of males in some of our discussions. I think for some of the cooking, I'm also going to do more and more Caribbean cooking, like the curry chicken and stewed chicken and the rice and peas and
soup.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I'm pigtail and some barbecue pigtails. Oh people, I'm just telling you. Oh, I'm sorry for you. You go to you who don't eat pork. That's your problem.
I don't.
I
I'm
love
sorry,
my
I
pork.
don't.
That's the only
You know,
pork
funny
I
thing,
eat.
most Jamaicans don't eat like pork. Don't eat pork.
It's since I came here. Most Jamaicans used to eat pork in Jamaica.
I know about in
But
Jamaica, but I know a lot of them I meet here. They're not eating it.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's a different thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there's something we learned
When you come here.
Yeah.
You know,
Because back home we feed our pigs with food, like
Like green
you
bananas or
actually
what have
cook
you.
food for the pig.
mhm.
Yeah, we did that too.
But here you don't know what they're
but-
feeding them.
But here, I get sick when I eat the pork.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so
Ew.
it's not that I don't like it, but
you don't think it's a healthy thing
it's
for
not-
you?
It doesn't do well with my
Good
stomach.
you, yeah.
So it's something in the pig.
Mhm.
Something,
Something in
or
the
maybe in something in the cooking.
Mhm.
I don't know, so I don't touch
You don't joke around with it. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot more of Caribbean house talk shows about like I said, the cooking, about other things that affect our community. One of the things that a few people who have seen the episode, some of the episodes, said to me, "You guys are from the Caribbean. Oh, I so I not talk in a dialect, And it's kind of true because we are not people fresh out the boat, so to speak. We've been here, like I've been here 37 years. I don't know how many years you've been here. 30. You've been here.
30.
Yeah. So,
32.
32. Okay. So you understand, like we're not gonna sing just like we came from St. Vincent, but or Jamaica,
Yeah.
But I assure you, people, the talk still there in there. Trust me. You could talk me dialect as any of you who are still the home. Trust me on that one. I could get done in my dialect on my
It will come out when it has to.
I tell you.
But yeah, but just between the both of you, I'm not from there, so I'm
You have
speaking
your
my
own dialect.
But you want to know something?
which I don't really speak much.
You don't speak much dialect, but
Yeah.
you know, would have that diction that people would know from the Caribbean. And the thing is, even though St. Vincent may have a different dialect, and even within St. Vincent, a different sub-dialects, I could understand everything you say. A Jamaican person would say when they speak dialect,
Right.
and I understand, you know, that they often drop the H, that they say house and him and her, you know.
Yeah.
We don't drop it, but we have a very similar sounding accent.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that's some of the things I want to get into. Like, where did all these different accents come from?
Yeah.
Like, why does the Barbadian sound the way they
sound
sound?
that way. Yeah.
Why does
Yes.
the Trini sound the way they sound? The musical type of thing. Then Grenadans kind of got mini Trini. Like, they have a little musical thing too. And the Vinci and the Antiguan and the
Yes.
Jamaican sound sort of.
I would say it's from it based from the region that we were originated from.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think they used to
Yeah.
bring them slaves over from wherever. I don't think
it's the region. It's where the slaves came from, where the white man came from. Where it's the influence, the original influence from the region that we were
I don't
originated.
think so. I just
I don't
think
think
that's
so.
it.
I think so.
Everybody
I think it's a
knows
combination.
Because while we're so different, and you know, we're one, but we're different.
We're one, but we're different
Even
because
in our cultural
every
experiences
nation.
sometimes.
But to Americans, we're one. To Americans, they think we all one, we all sound the same. Among ourselves, we know we don't sound the
We
same. We
don't.
know we have differences. We call things differently. We have different version of, even some different version of cooking.
Yeah.
I think there is something to be said about where people originated from. Like some of us came out of mainly Western Africa, right? Ghana, and places like that. But I think where
That's
we
where
ended
the
up,
different
but I
dialects
think
come
where we
from.
ended up, no. I think where we ended up, I think it came from there. But here's what I'm saying.
It is.
I think a combination. I think there's that let's say we came from Ghana, right? They dropped us in the Carolinas. Now you're there with that white slave master taking care of his kids, coming with your dialect from Africa, trying to learn that way of speaking English. Then you have that morph into something different. So I think yes, it's from where it came from, but it's that combined with where you ended up and how you adapt, and it came out.
But you said how we get all these different dialects. So that's why I said it originated where we came from originally.
So you're saying
then
that
that's
the
one.
Antiguans and the Jamaicans are coming from that special place? I mean, because we really speak the same dialect.
Well, you know what
The
they say.
Antiguans and the Jamaicans.
But you know what they said though? I heard, and I don't know if this is true, I'm not from Jamaica, that the reason that Antiguans sound almost identical to Jamaicans is that their foreparents came from Jamaica.
You see, I don't know that.
That
history,
Jamaica, that's what I heard, and I have to do some research.
Yeah.
But I heard that Jamaicans are who populated Antigua. And so they almost sound identical. Like we sound somewhat like Jamaican, but it's not like you barely can tell the difference between Antiguans and Jamaicans. Except Antigua was populated by Jamaicans. You know, whether that's the case or not, that is one of the theories that go around out there. I'm Trish.
I'm Mousy. I'm Irma. And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. Okay, so the thing with it's going to be interesting as we discuss, as we dive into, I should say, different topics in the different islands, to show our similarities, but also that we are distinct people within the different islands.
Yes.
You know, and I my mother gets very upset, like when people automatically say she's Jamaican, and it's not because she thinks there's anything wrong with being Jamaican.
Yeah.
She feels that this is a way that people just, sit, you know, they kind of dismiss you, like, okay, just throw you all in one bucket, as opposed to get to know you individually. You know, it's just easy to just say, oh, they all sound alike. It's like all black people look alike. Oh, this, you know, it's within that vein that she sees it. So, I think for this, we're hoping to be able to educate people about our differences, but yes, our similarities. We're hoping to be able to address things that are affecting us. I think one of the things that I would like to have on the show is immigration. I would like to have a good discussion or several discussions on immigration because that is something that is affecting our communities.
Yes.
And so I would in
And
season
actually,
2.
we have an immigration specialist at the church.
Right, I think I know who he is,
Earl
yes.
Claire.
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll be happy to come and join you for one of your
Oh, we would love that. We would love
Yeah,
to have
I'm
him.
sure
Mhm.
in talking to you, you probably would
Yes.
come.
Okay, so we'll let you do that hookup for us.
Yes.
See, it's so good to have her on it. She's so well connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would like to get into things
Oh
like
yeah,
immigration.
because he has a show on Sunday nights. He heard the pastor talk about
Yes,
it.
yes.
Well, I forgot what channel, but anyway, and he talks about different, projects, different things about the Caribbean. He's just a one-man show, but he brings on, people to interview. But very interesting show, very informative.
Mhm.
But right now, with what's going on with the immigration setup,
Yeah, and now we have a new
he
president.
has a lot, I was just talking to him at church today, and he said it's wild,
Mhm.
and people need to know about it. So I just, it hit me. Wow, maybe.
Yeah,
this
I would
be a
definitely
good
like to have
place.
him on.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. We want to look at things like that. We want to look at things like the education system
Yes,
here in the United States. And I would say one thing about people, we do take advantage of the education system. But what are some of the things that people need to know in terms of
Yes.
the loans and grants and
Oh yeah.
and things like that to keep them afloat? I mean, we really want to bring the things that would make a difference. And
That
one of the
matters.
things I think we do with the show, and I know that we try to do with the show, is to try to uplift people. Like to give, even if something is difficult, I always try to give people some hope or some way of looking at it.
Yeah.
There was one thing that we were talking about, and I felt like I left that off and didn't really quite give the kind of empowerment that I wanted to give. We were talking about employment issues, and especially when you're older, and the fact that it is almost not impossible, but it's difficult to get. Just walk from one job to another. In the first place, nobody wants at certain age to be leaving a job, but sometimes you don't have a choice. And in our conversation after the show, at some point later, myself and Oma, we were talking, and she was talking about someone that she knows that's going through something like that, and we were saying, and she was telling me, she said, I advise this person to just maybe reinvent how you look at how you make a living, become a landlord, cater.
Oh yes.
Do daycare,
Oh, yes.
do something, but there's so many other
Yes.
things. Sometimes you just have to know how to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
And one thing with Caribbean people, we can't invent ourselves.
we know,
my gosh,
we know how to do that.
because
We
most
have
of us,
such resilience.
because we didn't get it easy when we first came here.
No.
And if you're looking at me, I came to this country. I didn't have a green card when I came here. I came here on a visitor's visit, overstayed my time, and got married eventually, and made a living for myself, and had my children, and here I am 37 years later. But it wasn't easy. So I think the thing though, having that experience made me realize that no matter what life throws at you,
Yes.
you can take those. If it throws a bunch of lemons,
You make
by
lemonade.
God, you make lemonade out of it.
Yes,
Just squeeze it.
yes.
It's a 10% of life. I think it was Stephen Covey who said, he's kind of a motivational speaker,
Yes, yes.
and he said 10% of life
Mhm.
is what happens to you, and 90% is how you manage what happened to you.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to have bumps in the road. Everybody's going to have things that are not working quite the way they want to, and disappointments. And you know what we were talking about earlier. But you have to take those lemons and make lemonades. You got to,
Yes.
wrap your head around it in a way that will make a difference for you.
Yeah. I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah.
I love to invent the wheel.
I think the average person should reinvent themselves
to
every couple of
reinvent,
years. I really do. I think it's just a
every
natural
10
thing.
years.
Yeah, I
Should
think every
just
couple of years you should just reinvent. Look
Put
at
a
the way you're
little
living.
spice add something, take something out, move things around, everything is.
Because life is never going to stay the same. So
No,
I think
it's not.
sometimes when we run into trouble is when we're trying to stay the same way. Don't want to change, don't want to move, don't want to move. And life is going and is passing you by and you're there and hold on to it. And instead of say, okay, let me see how I can do this a different way.
I look at it as the doors closing on this one thing, and there's another door you have to open to keep going. So every time here my door close and open
a new one.
Yep. Yes.
So ladies, what would you like to see happen for season 2 in Caribbean House Talk? I just gave my vision, and I want to see some things that really.
As I said, I would love to see us talk a little, just like we're talking now, a little bit more about the Caribbean, some of our history, the different islands, how we behave, and because in America, I think people have this. I mean, I've been around quite some time here, and I noticed they have little doubts about this one from Jamaica or that one from Trinidad. There's always this doubt there. Well, I heard on the news and a Jamaican did that. And anybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody
I
can
had an
create
experience.
that problem.
I had an experience that really offended me. There was a gentleman in St. Vincent who did something very hideous. He is allegedly did something very hideous. He allegedly kidnapped this young woman that he was dating, and then they had broken up, and held her hostage in actually your hometown. Held her hostage for 4 months, where they were her family trying to figure out what happened to her. She just disappeared into thin air. And it was not until a nurse, she slipped. He must have let her out one day into a kitchen area, and she slipped a note and put it in the insulin bottle of the old aunt who lived upstairs. And this lady was able to find it and call the police, and so they were able to rescue her. And I'm on my job, and this gentleman who is from Jamaica sent me the link. And I didn't know what link he sent me. I was too busy. And then he came up to me again and he said, "Did you check the link I just sent you?" And he was trying to make sure that I know that he sent me this link. And it was obvious he had a whole discussion on it, as if to say, I was responsible for what this man did because he was from the same country that I was from. Somebody, and it's not just somebody from Jamaica doing that. We all do that. We hear that a Barbadian do something, and a couple of Barbadians, everybody, yes, they do things, exactly. And so I told him, I said, I hear people from different islands do something every day that maybe they shouldn't do. I don't put that on the whole population. So what exactly is your point for sending this to me? And he said, well, I was wondering if you knew him. I said, I've been out of there 37 years. This is somebody much younger who could be my child. I don't know people that age, So, we do make some assumptions. And while I say that, in America, we do have people make assumptions about us. We make assumptions about each other.
Yeah, we do. We do. And we do it a lot. And I guess it's happening in our different
countries.
Yes.
But one of the things I like with and the concept behind Caribbean House Talk and Caribbean and QXTV in general is that I feel like it's really going to educate people about who we are. When people don't know you, they will make assumptions about it because they don't know you. And sometimes we probably prevent people from knowing us as well as they could know us because we kind of shelter off. So I think,
And it's important to live in unity no matter where you're from. That doesn't happen much in America. An island is against an island. I've seen
them Jamaicans, them Vincentians, them
Barbadians. I've heard a lot.
It's really crazy because most people just see us all as one anyway. So here we are, like,
Really one that's putting the pressure on us. In a nutshell, what I would really want to see is, as we were saying, unity. We get together as one group of people, we're Caribbean people, and if that could really stick, that would be good.
Unity.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, we have to unify because I think it's important. Someone sent me a picture of a plane that it's all packed with Jamaicans going home with from one.
Oh, I saw that.
You know, and I'm saying to myself, there are other islands. I wonder if they're going to have their own plane too.
Well, you know what? There are more Jamaicans here than anybody else because it's the biggest, it's the largest English-speaking Caribbean island. So I did think that was kind of funny, but
you know, I just thought
you
it's
said
quite
yourself,
a plane would have to.
And there's some people who just not even thinking of going home. They know that plane full of people ain't even thinking
I would not be
that's
forced
not on their
out
mind.
because of that. I have to make up my mind if that, you know, if my time has come that I want to go home.
Right.
But that wouldn't be the main thing. Send me out of America. I enjoyed myself here, so I go when I feel.
I'm not about to let anybody rush me into making rash decisions. For what? You know, listen, I have to look at it whether there's Trump there, there's Clinton there. I'm going to have to get up in the morning and go to work.
We are people who know how to work. We know how to take care of ourselves. You know, yes, we have to go according to the law, but still I have to take care of myself and my family. So that's not going to be the reason why I just get up and run. You know?
I agree. I totally agree with you on that one. You know, but it's interesting. I see like different humor on online. Like some people send you jokes about different like Jamaican humor. Trini, they'll tell you how, you know, like the Jamaicans said this, the Vinci said this, the Trinidadian said this, the Barbadian said this. Oh Lord! But you know, people are gonna have their little humorous moments. You know, we can't. I try to find things to laugh about as opposed to, you know, just so that everything get me down.
Yes.
I'm Trish.
I'm Mountain. I'm Irma. And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. Well, thank you for joining us in this recap edition of Caribbean House Talk. We look forward to have you join us on our episodes of Caribbean House Talk. Please stay in touch with us via Facebook. Please go to our website at www.cuextv.com. That's www.qxtv.com. And we would let you know about our launch date. We're also going to continue to share clips from the different shows with you. So we ask you to follow us, get to know us, get to know the characters on our shows, get to know the network. Our aim is to entertain you. Our aim is to inform you, is to educate you, is to make you laugh, is to give you things to think about, is to help you cope, help you deal with things that might be going on in your life. So we ask you to continue to follow us on social media and on our website. We are looking forward to bringing you all the things that the average Caribbean person experiences living abroad, those that are home, what they may be experiencing, and for people who are not necessarily from the Caribbean but who have Caribbean connections or who want to understand us better. We are a cultural lifestyle network, and I believe everything hinges on culture. The way we speak, the language we speak, the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the way we dance, everything in life hinges on culture. So QX Television is the network to look at if you're really trying to get a sense of different cultures and what we are trying to, why people think the way they think, why they talk the way they talk, why they do certain things that, we're looking for you to join us to get uplifting information that could help you with things you might be struggling with or need answers to. So please join us on our future episodes of Caribbean House Talk, and we look forward to having you join us and develop a viewing relationship with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.